Hmm.
I don't know what the AI companion is going to do, but we'll see. I just started that. I have not tried it before.
Sometimes it will actually do the notes for you if you ask it.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I don't know. I've never tried it before. I haven't done a Zoom meeting since June, I think. So whoa, it's like I need training wheels again. All right, chaps. Hang on a second. Let me just get back to my slides. Oh, hang on a second. I think it's that I want. No. Sorry, thinking aloud here, especially for the recording. All right, chaps. Good morning. Today is August 7th, 2025. Welcome to Derita Matters. We were not going to hold a meeting in August, but I felt the need to get back into the swing of things. So I'm glad that you could join me. And just to go over the area that we cover in these meetings and in our efforts to keep track of what is going on in the city. Downtown Derita is pretty much at Mallard Creek and West Sugar Creek. And from there, about a 2-mile radius, roughly bounded by 77 in the west, 85 in the south, and Harris Boulevard, completing that little shape. Is what we focus on for these meetings, but of course a lot of policy matters all over the city affect us, especially you know, the university area is just up here, historic West End is just that way, and then of course, you know, uptown Charlotte and Camp North End between us and uptown Charlotte. You know, everything there affects us as well. And then of course south of 85, the Hidden Valley area down there, and their community also. So that's just a Google Maps view of the same sort of area, just showing you the radius. It's about 2.5-mile radius actually from Mallard and Sugar Creek. Most of the data that I share, and this resource is always in the slides, and if you just Google Quality of Life Explorer with the City of Charlotte, you can look up all sorts of stats and data about the area. You can drill down to each one of these shapes is a smaller, what they call an NPA. And you can drill down to data on each one of these little parcels, but I've selected roughly those that make up that area of Derita that we focus on. These are based, I think they're census tracts, if I'm not mistaken. But a very good resource for general data about Charlotte, or these areas in Charlotte. Just a little summary of the numbers sourced from this data, and generally this was from the beginning of 2025, and then within that data, some of that data you know, is sourced from different points in time. So this is just a rough idea. Don't expect that it's, you know, very accurate at this point, but it gives us a little snapshot in time. We do have elections coming up for city council. So that's, I guess, I'm sure that we will talk about that a little bit. And Derita Falls, we basically have 3 city council districts. residents within this area fall into 3 different city council districts. So if you're down here, this precinct, if you can see what I'm pointing at, that's where we are, Sylvia, Thomas, myself, Allen Hills, Tanglewood, etc. We're in District 1 now. The one little precinct that is north of 85 that is in District 1. Most of District 1 stretches from kind of Freedom Park through Plaza Midwood, Noda, all of that, up to, including Hidden Valley, up to 85 is District 1, and then we are a little orphan just north of 85 in District 1. My particular precinct. A lot of you guys are in District 2, which is Malcolm Graham, and then District 4, Renee Johnson. Forest Pond, I believe, is District 4. And anybody kind of south of Mallet Creek Road would be in District 4. And then most of Derita is actually District 2. Not that we've ever seen Malcolm Graham on these meetings. Just saying. Here's our schedule for our meetings for the rest of the year. First Thursday, Zoom at 9 a.m. pretty much. And then we will do a breakfast again on September 20th at Maria's Grill. And, you know, that's very casual and just social, but hope that you guys will come out to meet people face to face and see if we can create more opportunities that way. All right, gosh, that was a long introduction, and I should have introduced myself first. I am Teresa McDonald. I wear a bunch of different hats. I am a resident of Derita since 2007 in Allen Hills. I'm currently on the Planning Commission for the City of Charlotte. I'm on the Derita Statesville Road Community Organization Board, and also a realtor. That should be my first. I'm full-time realtor with Allen Tate. And let's just run through introductions for folks on the call. I'm going to start with the folks who are also on Derita Statesville Road Board. So Mel Renner.
Yes, I too serve on the Derita Statesville board. I'm a retired procurement officer for the city of Charlotte, where I worked for 12 years. And I live in the Forest Pond community, just shy of 300 homes, where I have been the past HOA president for 18 years in a row. Active in the community, lived here for about 25 years. Enough said.
Thank you, Mel. I think I will need to leave myself unmuted because I will just forget. Thomas.
Yeah, Thomas Tumbleton. I'm a lifelong resident of the Royal Oaks neighborhood, which is, maybe you guys noticed on the map, that's within the confines of Graham Street and Sugar Creek Road, basically, essentially behind the fire station on Sugar Creek Road. The former chairman of the neighborhood association there, and currently on the Derita Statesville Road board as well.
Awesome, thank you. Nadine.
Good morning. My name is Nadine Henry. I've been a resident of the Sugar Springs community since 1991. I am retired from Allstate, but I am also an owner of a business. I'm an event planner. I enjoy that. And I'm also a liaison for Archwell Medical on Sugar Creek and Graham. I try to get out into the community and do different things Right now, we're planning with Archwell an event Christmas in July, and I do need, excuse me, Christmas in August. Anybody who has a business, I would love for you to make contact with me. I'm going to put my information in the chat. We're looking for people to come in as vendors. May it be for a business or something that you can contribute to the lives of others. And I thank you very much.
Thank you, Nadine. Carrie Miller.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie. I have been in the writer for going on 7, maybe 8 years now, and I am a community advocate, and I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to get things kicked off and excited to see what's in store for the community for the rest of the year.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Carrie. Jerry.
Hi, good morning. I am Jerry Crooks, Jerry Brisbane Crooks, and I'm a native Charlottean. So I have actually been around and in the area. If you're familiar with Statesville Road, I've operated Brisbane Academy for over 32 years there, recently retired. I'm here to also just represent my daughter, Leah White, who's teaching right now in summer camp, and she's running for District 2. She is right now collecting signatures to get on the ballot alongside the current member, Malcolm Graham. And so I'm here to represent her, a very passionate young lady who is also a native Charlottean and just wants to be able to serve, represent the community, whatever she can do to help uplift the community concerns with gun violence, transportation, housing, and any other concerns that the community would have. We are needing signatures. So if you're in any way able to sign or help, we're there at Brisbane Academy as a headquarters to collect signatures. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, Jerry. If you're welcome to put contact information in the chat. And this, from what I understand from Leah, you have to be in District 2 to be able to sign the petition that she needs to be able to be on that ballot. So
Yes.
anyone in District 2, and if you don't know what district you're in, you can source it online. I can't put a link right away, but I'm sure you guys can figure out how to.
Yeah, and if you're in
figure out
District 1 or another district, just spread the word, and we certainly appreciate you allowing us to be here today. Thank you, darling.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Roberta.
Yes, I'm Roberta Henfield. I live in the Forest Pond subdivision, and I just thought I'd tune in and see what's happening.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I think is that Teresa Braswell from Forest Pond as well?
Yes, Teresa's our president.
Oh, I know. I'm calling on the next person. I see Teresa.
Can you hear me, Teresa?
Yes, yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I joined from my phone today. And so, yes, I'm here. Teresa Braswell, Forest Pond president. And I'm not sure what else you wanted in the introduction.
That's good enough. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to get to our couple of guests and give them a little more time to give us an update in case they need to go elsewhere or have other meetings to attend. Charlene Henderson, Hidden Valley.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How is everybody?
Good.
Good.
Good. All right. That's how we started off. For those who do not know me, I am Charlene Henderson, and I live in the historic Hidden Valley. So I'm no stranger to this platform. Of course, Teresa, you know that. And I definitely want to make sure that we always understand we have choices out here in these communities. And if you do not empower yourself to be a different voice for your community, then that's sad on you. But I tell you, when I'm running for City Council District 1, that means we have another choice on that ballot. And I do have sample ballots, but the goal is to make sure you tap me in because I'm transparent, I'm accountable, and I'm a proven leader, especially in my area of the Hidden Valley community. If you've seen what I've done, please make sure that you compare the differences. A lot of times they talk about a lot of policy making, but we live policy every day. We have to remember that policies are who we are. And if they do not represent you, if they're not for what you're standing for, and if you've been in these terms as long as I have, and everything almost looks the same and not a lot of difference, we need to look at who we have in our offices. And let's start holding them accountable, and let's begin to put people in place that's going to be for us in our communities and what we value, and to listen to our concerns. Because a lot of times the issue come in, they tell us what we should want or what we need to have versus us telling them, what we want and what we need to have. So I'm Charlene Henderson, the historic Hidden Valley. Our national night out was the bomb, Teresa. Oh my goodness, it was really, really great. Had a lot of resources in the building. A lot of dignitaries came out, but the opportunity still avails. September the 9th, guys. Remember Charlene Henderson, because I'm standing on business when it comes down to District 1. I don't know how many people are from District 1, but you do have an opportunity to put someone else in there that really have our best interests at heart. Thank you so much, Teresa, for allowing me to speak today. And y'all have an awesome, awesome meeting on today, and just may God bless, okay?
Thank you, Charlene. And then Ms. Mayfield, are you still there? I wanted to save the best to last.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Good morning, everyone. I am Lawana Mayfield. Are you able to see me?
Yes, I
Yes.
see you. I just have to
Okay.
change my view.
Right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad I'm able to jump in again. I probably get to jump in maybe once or twice a year based on the schedule. But I also want to remind everyone, early voting is coming. It always starts at the Hal Marshall Center starting on August 21st. There are some changes. We have no Sunday voting, no souls to the polls this year. We only have one Saturday for voting, and that is the Saturday, September the 6th, right before the election. So for the first week and a half, the polls at Hal Marshall, why Hal Marshall is open for 7 days, I'm not sure. 8 to 5. Where are most people at during 8 to 5? At work. So that is going to be a challenge. On September the 2nd, the last week of early voting, is when the polls all sites will be open, all the libraries and other locations where they'll be open until 7:30. And that one Saturday, September the 6th, which is the final day for all 9, we have a total of 9 sites that'll be open. It is only open from 8 to 3. So we have to recognize that when the North Carolina General Assembly last year took away powers from the governor, historically, the 5 board members that lead the Board of Elections are appointed by the governor and represent the party of the governor. So that would have been 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans. Once the General Assembly made the changes last year, they actually tapped the state auditor to be in that role. The state auditor represents the Republican Party. So we now have 3 Republican judges and only 2 Democrat. That means shorter times, more limitations, and more importantly, for the Board of Elections, that also reduces the time that they have to count all the ballots. They will have 3 days this year instead of the normal 7 days. Wanted to make sure everyone understood that. I have served you for a number of years on city council. I am seeking re-election for one of the 4 at-large seats. As Ms. Henderson mentioned, there are a lot of names on the ballot this year. I hope some of you have had a chance to attend some of these debates and community conversations and meet and greets. If not, you can find a number of them online, as well as the Observer and WSOC has done interviews. Please check us out. I have entered my email into the chat. I would love to keep serving you. If anyone's interested in volunteering, please reach out, and I am going to keep it as short as that. If y'all have any questions, I am here because I'm not leaving the meeting.
Thanks very much, Ms. Mayfield. I think I covered everyone. Just shout out if I did not ask you to introduce yourself, but I think I got everyone. All right, I have a couple of updates. I don't necessarily have a slide for everything. I want to see if and maybe since we have council members and wannabe candidates for city council on, we can go over just quickly the big thing that is going to come on the ballot in November as well. As far as I know, it's going to be on the ballot. A couple of pieces. Sorry, I'm talking while I'm trying to figure out how to get to that screen.
For the transportation tax?
Yeah, the transit tax. So we'll be asked to vote on a 0.5-cent sales tax increase in November. And that is for transit. Somewhere I have a whole summary and I just do not know where it got to. Let's see if this is it. Yeah, this is it. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, there is currently a 0.5-cent local and sales and use tax dedicated to public transportation, and they're looking to increase the sales tax by one cent, and this would increase the total sales tax rate to 8.25%. And it does, I think the same bill creates a new authority to oversee transit, which would be CATS, as well as links, the trains, etc. City Council discussed this in their committee meeting on Monday, so you can go and watch the YouTube discussion. You'll be able to see the presentation on the legislation, on kind of the shape of the body that will be overseeing all of this, and then the breakdown of the new tax revenue has also been laid out. So there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle in terms of getting at the state level the permission to put it on the ballot in November. And so a lot of this was negotiated to get to that point between local and state stakeholders, I guess. Anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that is coming up. There's a lot of, you can't please everyone with this kind of thing at all. But certainly for myself, I I don't see any way around improving transit and transportation generally in our county without raising some more funds. So yeah, just try to educate yourselves on that and be ready to vote in November, because I believe, and maybe Ms. Mayfield can correct me, but if this referendum does not pass, it'll be several years before we can go through this process again. And it has already been a multi-year process to just get it on the ballot in November. So we're a growing city. The latest number is 170 people moving to this area every day. And I'm a realtor, I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother. There is no way that you stop people from moving to a desirable area. We have to be smarter about how we move people around and where we locate people to live, which within city limits it should be our goal, and not continue to eat up farmland and forest far away from where the jobs are. So that's my little spiel on that. And
so Teresa, can I add a little bit to that? Where we're gonna have, when I say we, where council is gonna have a lot of power in this conversation is in our appointments to the committee. So city council has 9 seats that we can appoint to. I am not on the transportation and planning committee, but I did sit in on their meeting and was able to ask the question of clarification. The way the language is written, that the General Assembly signed off on, it said a minimum of 1 actual transit rider. I clarified that it is not a limit to 1, that we can have more than 1, because it makes no sense to me to have the committee made up of all business people and not those who actually utilize public transit on a regular basis. So I am going to be pushing for us to look into identifying, but the only way that works, and this is for all that are online and they can share with their neighbors and friends and family, we need you to apply when the time comes. What I've also recommended to the mayor and council is that we actually do interviews of the individuals, because this is such an important committee. Normally you will fill out an application online and we review the applications, we read through the qualifications, and we vote on the nominations. Whoever receives 7+ of the votes out of the 11 council members, that's who appointed. Just so that you know, if you've ever received an email from any of us congratulating you and saying, hey, I nominated you, that is not how the process works. All the nominations come in to all of us unless a council member directly sends an email to the other council members stating, I'm asking for your support for this individual, which all of that is public record. There is none of us are necessarily advocating, because I've had residents reach out to me over the years to say, hey, I got this email saying that I was nominated by an individual. That is not how the process works. But how the process does work is we need you to apply. And we need as many diverse members throughout the city to apply. Yes, it's only 9 seats that we're appointing to, but those 9 will have the voice and the power to ensure that our intentions of creating an equitable city are upheld.
thank you. And I believe there's a total of 27 seats on this new transit body. I forget if they have given it a name.
They're bouncing around a name, but
okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works, but you know, a lot of people are skeptical about, you know, increasing the budget, especially with the news of some of the mismanagement at CATS which is being resolved. But, you know, perception, people gain their perceptions from the media, and then it becomes really hard to convince, you know, the general public that we should allocate more money to something that is being mismanaged or doesn't meet the need or whatever. But we have to get it right. We're a growing city, and yeah, we developed over the last 50 years with by just sprawling out over 300 square miles, and it is going to be very hard to serve the existing homes with transit. And if you're in Derita, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You can live a quarter mile from Gibbon Road or Sugar Creek, and it will still take you 10 minutes, or if you're walking, probably 25 minutes to get out to a bus stop, or if there were a train station, same thing. And this pattern is repeated everywhere. If you live in any of the neighborhoods of Harris Boulevard, which is thousands and thousands of homes, it's just a network of cul-de-sacs and very long circuitous routes to get you out onto Harris Boulevard. So we're going to have to be very creative to solve our problem. And roads are going to be a big part of that, because we've already got roads. We have a massive network of roads, and we need to figure out how to use them more smartly. And that's, you know, just my opinion. And when I say smartly, I mean make it safe for all users on the road, whether you're riding, walking, or driving a very small vehicle, or, you know, whatever it's going to be. We have to be open to some creativity, because we are a growing city, and what has worked or not even worked in the past is definitely not going to work for the future. Anybody else? I don't know if Charlene or Jerry, if you have anything to say on this particular matter, because, you know, this is policy, which I'm always much more comfortable understanding where people stand on particular policy, or what ideas they actually have for policy that they have control over in city council, which, you know, city council is over planning and public safety, like CMPD, nothing to do with the schools. So yeah, just let me know.
So when I jump in from a community standpoint. We pretty much know and understand how this thing works. This is like a vacuum. I understand the city council's position, but it's bigger than just the city council. It's going to be on the ballot. Most likely it will pass. But while it is passing, we still have the opportunity to really get connected with what is getting ready to be on, what we can ask for. And I know you guys, y'all advocate so much for your sides of town, just like we do in our area of Hidden Valley. We are advocates for those who are in the crescent areas, those who are underrepresented, and your voice is not clearly being heard. So we have to look at it from a standpoint of, are we going to at least say what we want? Be the voices that we need, go down there to city council, let them know that we are engaged. That's the problem. We have not been engaged like we're supposed to. And if we show that we can come together collectively and ask for concerns, Councilwoman Lawana is on here. I mean, she could speak a little bit to that as well. But the goal is to be the voice that you need to see and hear. Because if not, they're going to just keep passing us over. We're going to keep having all of these issues with traffic, the unsafe areas in our communities. And you know what's going on right now on Reagan Drive and Sugar Creek right in that area. It is infested with drugs, crimes, and violence, but we have actually gotten a couple of individuals to come over there and begin to be housed. And so they did a raid over there and they cleaned up the streets. They had an actual cleanup. And so we're trying to make sure we do our part. But together, I do believe that we'll be able to be a bigger voice. But that one sales tax is going to be on there and it's going to pass. But what will we do while it's passing or while it has passed? How much can we be an influence together? That's the main thing. Because for me, I tell you, y'all, I am just I'm a mother. Like you said, Teresa, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I'm just a regular citizen, but I do have a political voice out here. And I think that's what we're missing. We're missing those voices that can really help the council understand from a whole nother level. They don't see it from our level a lot of times. A lot of it's just policy, policy, policy. Well, let's bring the policy to the community and let us begin to understand what policy look like. And you guys are going to get that through me.
Thank you, Charlene. I think I see Leah joined. Is that right, Jerry?
Yes,
Oh, there you are.
my apologies. Camp starts at 9, so I had to get the kids settled.
Yeah, well, we're talking about the transit tax that is going to be on the ballot in November, and the role of council in selecting the 9 committee members to run the transit, the new authority that will be established at the same time as approving the sales tax for transit. So yeah, we're just, I know you probably haven't heard everything that people have had to say, so you're on the spot a little bit, but tell us a little bit about yourself, and just if you have anything on this particular issue.
And I was just going to add, Ms. McDonald, exactly what Charlene was talking about. Leah has a passion to be a voice for the people. I know she spends a lot of time picking up people, transporting them, picking up students that need to be tutored because the parents don't have transportation. So unfortunately, like you were saying, it may be a reality that it passed, but that's, in my opinion, as just a native living here, is that where else could that have come from? Adding more taxes and increasing expenses for the local residents, it's really just not when people are struggling already. But anything else you have to add to that, Leah, because part of that was getting out in the community and being a voice for the people there on the council.
Yes, thank you so much, Mom. Yeah, so my name is Leah White. I'm not sure what was said. I am running as a non-affiliated candidate. I just want to prioritize the people over a party. Right now, as far as the transit sales tax go, I am against it. I feel that the taxpayers' money has been already allocated to things that are not serving the community, and I think that would add to it. I think that there are funds in the city that can be allocated to improving the bus stops. We have a bus stop right outside Brisbane, and we still don't have a trash can. So I just feel like there's certain things that the city can fund to make the transportation better, but to ask taxpayers to increase what they're already paying, I can't get on board with that right now.
Thank you, Leah. Yeah, that's that's usually my default as well, is that we should look at how we're spending our current tax revenues and how can we allocate it better to meet the needs, especially such basic things as bus stops that really should serve everybody well. And yeah, I mean, we have bus stops on the side of railroad tracks that don't even have a shelter or a bench or a trash can. It's appalling. But yeah, then the challenge becomes, what do you cut to spend more there? If you're not adding more revenue? So Yeah, why I don't run for city council, reason number 343. But yeah, it's a good point, and it's a hard sell. Our sales tax is getting up there, and when you drive around, you don't get the impression that the city spends a whole lot to maintain public spaces, especially our sidewalks and bus stops, etc. So yeah, I understand why there would be objection to raising the sales tax.
And I do want to chime in just for a split second. Also, of course, we understand. Hopefully, we do understand a little bit about the sales tax itself. It's not on everything. Like the major things that we are dealing with, like medicine and certain foods, and all of that doesn't get taxed. It's the amenities. It's the things that we enjoy, like a piece of gum or some candy, or anything that's extracurricular. That is what is getting ready to be taxed. So that's something that we can at least take enjoyment in. Everything's not going to be taxed. It's just the amenities that we enjoy will be taxed.
And the other thing is the sales tax, it also catches everybody that comes into the county and spends money,
Yes.
pay, sales tax. So, it spreads the load around a little further. But yeah, there's no doubt that any tax really does affect the lowest earners the most. So that's not a dispute. But Councilmember Mayfield, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you, Teresa. So I just want to make sure that we're all on a level playing field with understanding. It is not that the city has not invested. One of the biggest challenges we have, which Teresa, from serving on the board, we have a lot of roads throughout the city that are state maintained roads. The North Carolina General Assembly, even though we're all sending our taxes up to Raleigh, they have not released our power bill dollars in 6-7 years. Those are the monies that should have been coming back, because Charlotte is one of the greatest and largest tax contributors to the North Carolina General Assembly. Those dollars are the dollars that will help us to do a lot of the work. Now, separately from this tax, we have identified some funding. We have in the area plans areas where we are investing in bus stops and a number of other things. But I want us to be transparent regarding when we're having this conversation regarding the transportation tax. Yes, this tax is a 1-cent sales tax. That will take our tax rate up to 8.25 versus 7.25. We are also one of the lowest tax cities in the nation, to be perfectly honest, even with us being the 14th largest with the way that we're growing. If the state did their job, if we put energy and actually elected representatives, especially if they are identified as Democratic representatives that won't do what they did last week and overturn the governor's veto, that will actually shore up and support the releasing of funds throughout all 120 counties, that would be a very different conversation. You look at Steel Creek, the road widening that is the state's responsibility has been pushed back to the point where they're talking about 2045, 2050 before they get to it. We started that conversation when I first got in office in 2011. So they keep moving the date, and they being North Carolina General Assembly, not releasing the funds that we need. But in the meantime, we are growing at a rapid rate. So we do need to figure out how we move forward and how we make the investments. Yes, we are connecting to our neighboring towns. If you notice, the Board of Commissioners did approve their support of the sales tax at their meeting this week. The towns are also having the conversations. because we have people in Morrisville and other areas that are traveling into the city. So we can do a better job. We be in the city. We're trying to get out. We're having a lot of community conversations, but anytime a neighborhood reach out, you're able to have someone come out and they will go through the maps and they will explain it, and you're able to ask questions just so that we all can be educated voters. But I don't want us stuck in this place of what my tax dollars hasn't paid for. Your tax dollars has paid for a lot to help grow this city, a lot of investments, millions of dollars into our corridors of opportunity. And we are doing that almost with one hand tied behind our back because we're not receiving the money back from the state that we should have received and should be receiving. So I just want to make sure that while we're having the conversations, we're having a transparent conversation. Can we do better? Of course we can. You can always do better when you're trying to get government right. But there's a big difference between once you're elected and you start to learn all the limitations that we have versus the idea, because it was the same for me when I ran as a candidate. I had certain ideas of what I would be able to do. The reality, once you're in, being able to identify 6+ votes, learning according to North Carolina General Assembly state statute that they keep changing on a whim, what we are and are not able to do, a lot of that is a challenge. I believe that those who are running are very well up to that challenge, but I think we need to just be honest about what this potentially will be. And you said it earlier, if we don't make this investment now, it could be another decade plus, which is only going to put us in an even more precarious position as the city continues to grow. We keep approving multifamily units. If y'all watch the meetings, Teresa knows I am a no quite often, because I don't believe in, if we build it, they will come. We need to put the infrastructure in place to help. Yet we do have our hands tied to a certain extent. Thank you for letting me share that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a very good point. As we in Derita know very, very well, our major roads in Derita, West Sugar Creek, Mallard Creek, are all state roads. And yeah, don't get us started on NCDOT, because the NCDOT just has a fundamentally different calculus for their roads that just doesn't mesh with being in a city where you've got to accommodate other modes, not just cars moving as fast as possible. So when you talk about road widening, we had Mallard Creek Road, which was just a 2-lane, what they would call farm to market road, for decades, and it took 35 years, Councillor Mayfield, before that road was actually funded and widened. And now we have another whole slew of problems,
Yes.
slew of different problems, because we've got this massive wide road that is actually underutilized. So most of the time our problem is speeding and very reckless driving, because the road is so wide and hardly anybody on it. And yeah, so that's the Graham Street extension. The intersection at West Sugar Creek and North Graham is a confection of NCDOT engineers design that is just appalling and very dangerous. One of the newest intersections in Charlotte, and I predict it will be one of the most dangerous. It's making its way up the list, I'm sure, because of the number of wrecks that are over there. And it's because the roads are too big, which is another reason why we don't have enough money for things, is because we have to design these massive roads that are probably 30 to 50% wider than they need to be. And if they were narrower, we would have a much more safe situation for everybody, whether you're
I agree.
in a car,
And that's
whether
the
you're in a
challenge.
wheelchair, whether you're on a bicycle or walking. if our roads were calmer and smaller, yes, you need turn lanes. Yes, you need probably roundabouts and calming things that calm the traffic. But yeah, you know, there's a lot to talk about. But I do see that Nadine, you have your hand up.
Yes, when it comes to increasing taxes and that sort of thing, ladies, I wish you would take into consideration the seniors. I know what my taxes on my home were in the beginning, and by the time I paid it off, and I pay more attention to it now because it's not blended into my mortgage, but it's increasing, 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 and your funds aren't increasing. And that turns to the point where you get, in a lot of cities now, seniors are losing their homes
Yes, ma'am.
simply because they can't afford the taxes. And that's not right. There should be some type of reduction for seniors. And I'm looking at a paper that talks about the homes application.
The Homestead Act.
Yes, but
Yes.
I think every senior should be able to use that and get a reduction, and also get some type of, our homes are older, so there's not so much renovation but repair work that needs to be done. We need to be able to get credits for our seniors for that so that our homes are in good status. And thank you very much.
Miss Nadine, you are absolutely correct. And that is something that I have spoken about multiple times from the dais. The biggest challenge that we have is the North Carolina General Assembly, because the way the system is set up, you as an individual have to know to go in and apply for the Homestead Act. It's not automatic. In some cities, once you hit a certain age, they automatically send you the paperwork for you to lock in your interest rate. North Carolina is not one of those states, being a Dillon rule. You also have where the county gives a break. What's $650? That when your tax bill has gone up to over $3,000. So I have been pushing that conversation as well, but it really relies on us getting better people in our General Assembly that are actually going to have the ability, because there have been introductions of legislation, even if they get a second on it, it doesn't get past the House to even get to the Senate, because the Republican Party has a supermajority. And then when you have one or two Democrats cross over, that doesn't help us. So we need to be looking at identifying qualified people to actually run, giving them the support and getting them in office, and also holding all of us accountable. But those are things that, being the vice chair of Housing and Neighborhood Services and being someone that has been working in correlation with housing 25 years plus before even running for office, and now 11 and a half years arguing the same concern, that is something where we need more community engagement, because we don't have the ability. I tried to get funds set aside through our ARPA dollars, even though they were one-time funds. The city put $1 million and some change in collaboration with the county to help offset the cost, but it's the county, not the city, that gives those funding. So I definitely hear you. And some of us are trying our hands. It is so difficult working with this General Assembly.
All right, Charlene, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually driving now. However, just to put a pin in that, I hear you when you speak on the seniors and trying to put a cap on the taxes that you're facing. We right now within the Hidden Valley Communities Association, as well as the community, we're looking at petitioning to the General Assembly. So we've gotten the verbiage, we've gotten more information on what we need to do as well in order to be the difference that we need to have for those seniors. So when you're talking, you're not the only one feeling the burden. But again, I have to tell you, the city hands are really tied to a certain degree. So we have to start looking at the state, looking at bringing our state legislators in to actually talk to us about what they can do. Because we keep hearing hands are tied, fighting with one hand. What can you do? This is the questions that we're asking now. What can you do? Because we're the ones that voted you in to represent us. Why is it that we're not getting some of the solutions to the problems? And so now we have to challenge the state on a lot of things because everything is predicated upon the state giving you what you need. Why is that? Why? So we have to challenge that, and as a majority of Republicans, we still cannot negate the fact that we have to go down there to the General Assembly, to Raleigh, to let them see us and hear us constantly as much as possible about putting caps on whatever the senior need or whatever we're in desire of. We got to stop holding the city so accountable that we forget that the state is the one that's actually bringing down, giving us what we need, and they're not doing that. So we have to start pushing back on them as well. But we do hear you. I definitely hear you because we're doing the work. Just join with us. We're here in Valley. You'll see exactly what we're doing now. We're not just sitting around waiting on the city. We have to go to the state now.
I think that's a great discussion, and I appreciate everybody being on here to give that perspective. And I hope that everybody will, talk and spread the word a little bit so that we can get more debate on the matter and also figure out how to vote in November. As far as Derita updates, I can tell you that the Puckett's property did close that purchase. And so, don't be shocked. They will probably be starting construction, which will be demolition, will be one of the first phases. Oh gosh, this actually makes me very sad, but on the bright side, it will be adding a brand new apartment building in downtown Derita, which will have a plaza on that corner that will be a public facing sort of plaza area. We don't have, the developer will come on to one of our meetings shortly, maybe next month, to present some more architectural renderings of their plans, so that we can hopefully get a bit excited about the new building that will be coming up in Derita. And it's sad to lose that iconic kind of historic building, for sure. But that sale did close, so the developer is the new owner of the property, and they will be moving forward with their construction there very, very shortly. That was the biggest update, sort of new information that closed, I think, towards the end of June. So it's not that new. Perhaps people were ahead of me on that. Do not know what's happening with the BP station that was over there. If anybody, Sylvia did get information, and it came from somebody who works at Wells Fargo. So I have not been able to confirm that the BP gas station will be coming back as a gas station right there where they're putting the townhomes in, on West Sugar Creek. But if anybody has any reliable information there, that would be great to know. I have not seen anything on any of the city's permits or anything like that related to that site that would give me any indication of whether they're putting the gas station back or going to change the use or sell the property. Not sure, but that townhome development on West Sugar Creek behind the BP and the Wells Fargo, etc., is also going to bring 90 new households into downtown Derita, which can only be good for supporting businesses in downtown, as well as just bringing those eyes on the street and that activity, so that after dark, it's not just an attractive nuisance. That was the other, speaking of attractive nuisance, the shopping center where Sea Hut is, and the furniture place, Furniture Palace, etc., that at Mallard Creek and Sugar Creek. We did have a meeting with them. Sylvia led that. We had a meeting with the property owner over there after there was an incident with cars doing donuts, and I believe there were shots fired. It was quite a big thing that happened a few months ago. And the property owner has got the lights working now in the parking lot. They've done some refurbishment, so the buildings have been painted, and they do have plans also to possibly add a little out parcel in the parking lot, because that parking lot is very underused, which makes it an attractive nuisance and a perfect place for folks to gather in the middle of the night and do street takeovers or whatever they're doing. So that we are seeing some improvements over there. I don't know who the new tenant is yet that is coming in, where Dedicated Senior vacated, but new owner there. New owner, the shopping center where Maria's has a new owner. They also purchased the little strip behind Maria's where Derita Dairy Bar, etc. are. So that is all changed hands recently, and we'll hope to hear from them. Perhaps the new owners will come and join us and let us know what they're planning. If they're planning anything at all, that those buildings have tenants, and not sure how it will go, especially the strip where Derita Dairy Bar is, and Treasure Chest, etc. Those tenants have had very, very low rents, completely below market rate for a very long time. So not sure what will happen there. And I also see the building. Oh, we have an ice cream place at in the building further down West Sugar Creek that was renovated recently. There's a florist that now has a very colorful ice cream, natural ice cream sign. So hopefully we'll go check that out. Sorry, I don't have slides to illustrate all this, but I hope you guys are familiar enough with downtown Derita that I can talk about it. Thomas, I see your name, hand raised.
Well, you mentioned the townhomes that are going in there behind the Wells Fargo and the BP station, and of course, it looks like their access, their driveway onto Sugar Creek Road is right across from a terrible intersection that already exists. It's awful today. So basically, is anybody making any? I know of course, this is a state road again, but at the same time, somebody needs to be doing something to improve that intersection, because it's awful now and it's only going to get worse with the addition of these 90 townhomes at that spot. So it goes right along with the problems we're having all through Derita about any of the roads you could talk about, not just the state roads, but any of the roads. They haven't seen improvements in decades, and they've been needing them for decades. And we get nothing out here. There's not even a plan to do anything to improve any of the roads around us. So, this just adds to that frustration. And there seems to be no plan to do that because, like you were saying, like 100 plus people move to this area a day, and neither the city nor the state seems to be able to do enough to even begin to keep up with that pace. And things like, the corridors, the corridors of opportunities, that sounds great, but it takes too long over time to get anything accomplished. And by the time any improvements are made, way more needs to be done because the reality on the ground has changed significantly before you get any improvement at all.
Yeah, I agree. I do believe there are improvements coming to that intersection. I do not know, it may even be slated for a traffic light, but that is subject to
Well,
confirmation.
what would be great right there would be a roundabout. You've got the space for it, but I'm sure that won't happen. So I don't know what they plan to do, but it's going to be, it's awful now because of the proximity of the railroad track and people trying to get across. Do not try to make a left turn out of there. You'll get killed. But, that would be a great place for a roundabout, period.
Yeah, I agree.
And then right there, of course,
wonder why we don't
Mallard
see
Creek
more.
too, but we won't see that because once again, state road. So.
But the state is putting in roundabouts. If you go to any of the small towns around us, you will see roundabouts all over.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
there. Full of roundabouts.
Yeah.
Harrisburg, roundabout.
Well, and like what they were talking about, there's our money's being sent to some rural place out in the middle of nowhere that has a roundabout, but we can't get them here.
Yeah, I don't know about that in particular, but yeah, I agree. Roundabouts would solve a lot of problems. We could certainly put one at North Graham and West Sugar Creek. That would make a big difference, and goodness knows there's enough room there.
That would slow people down, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, it's a terrible intersection. Even if you have right of way, it's terrifying in a car. I cannot imagine trying to cross that road as a pedestrian. And you have seniors who in theory could walk to Food Lion. Right. But very.
Yeah, it's like trying to talk. I have gone through that intersection many times on foot. It is like trying to cross a sea of cars. Yes.
Yes. No, it's terrible. You can't make out what lane cars are in, how fast they're going, or anything at all. So
you have to watch. You have to watch out for them making those right turns. They zip around there and don't bother to stop or slow down or anything.
So my advice to Steel Creek is, if you want wider roads, please be careful what you wish for, because NCDOT will someday, it might take 40 years, but they will give you a wide road, and then you just have another whole set of problems to deal with, which are more deadly than lining up for a few minutes in a car is not as bad of a problem as deadly high speeds, in my humble opinion.
Well, like you're talking about, the NCDOT is great for putting in roads out in rural areas, and then they just, especially for the Graham Street extension, they seem to have used a 30-year-old plan and just stuck to it, and didn't bother to upgrade it or change it to reflect the reality of today's conditions.
Right. Yeah. And that's the story of a growing city, I guess. It's very hard to put the infrastructure in place first before you have the people and the taxpayers to provide the money. But it's a conundrum. All right, folks, I think that's all that I have. Our next Zoom will be in September, and the first Thursday in September at 9 a.m. And then we will do a breakfast on the 20th. That's a Saturday morning. I just realized I will actually be out of town that weekend. I was trying to remember why that weekend was key. So I will actually be out of town that weekend. So unfortunately,
Teresa,
yes.
Mel has his hand up. He's trying to
Oh,
speak.
Mel, sorry, Mel.
I can't.
Thank you.
His physical
somehow-
hand up.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes. Oh, you had your hand up on camera.
Yeah, I can't
Oh.
find the what puts your hand up. It doesn't appear to be on my taskbar. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. No worries. Thank you.
So yeah, a couple things. I was actually pleasantly surprised that the Sugar Creek right there through Derita has been recently paved. So lo and behold, the state does do something, you know.
It might even be that developer, Mel, that was
Well,
required.
that's part of it, I'm
those.
sure, yeah. But
Yeah.
this goes right on through the, you know, where there was plenty of potholes, believe me. I traveled there quite a bit. Kind of a rewind back on what the comments about our board meeting in the shopping center regarding the shooting. In the past week or two, there's been 2 shootings in Forest Pond. So we still have a crime component going on. I'm sure Teresa and Roberta can speak to this problem as well. I think there's a sort of a notion that it might be due to undesirable tenants in rental houses that are bringing in people that are prone to shooting up houses. I don't know, but again, Teresa and
Yes, that has been, yeah, we have found that through research with the police reports and working with our community manager that, yeah, they, in both instances, they were rentals. And in one of the 2 instances, it was the second incident that occurred regarding shooting, just shooting up the actual house. So far, knock on wood, there hasn't been any injury other than property damage, but that's enough because bullets don't have names on them. So someone could have been hurt. And so we're getting ahead of that now and bringing in more police presence in terms of making their rounds, drive-bys, etc.
yeah,
Yeah.
a house near me had most of its windows shot out. It's all
Wow.
boarded up right now.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Well,
Yeah, we actually also had an event like that in an incident, I should say, in not in Allen Hills, but just a block away from Sylvia in Greenleaf. And apparently 2 sets of neighbors firing shots at each other.
Nice.
So I don't know what's going on with that.
yeah, and I think that's interesting you said that, Teresa, because it's still under investigation now, but there were 12 people involved. The house that Mel's talking about, there were 12 people involved. So it likely was and then they mentioned a neighboring adjoining house, but it was kind of weird because they only had the one primary address. So maybe the other 6 were the people that came into the neighborhood and did the shooting. It's really not clear the dynamics in terms of the number of people, but the number itself is 12, according to the police report.
I wonder if it's worth getting in touch with a couple of the organizations that do sort of violence prevention and mediation, because my understanding with a lot of these incidents is that it is very often young people, even teenagers, that have disputes and you know, and guns, and they're resolving or, you know, escalating their disputes, which can be very minor, to the point where they're shooting up each other's homes, etc. Nadine, you have your hand up. I don't know if that's a new one or but I know Sugar Springs also dealt with something like this probably a year ago.
We did. We have in Sugar Springs, a developer came in without telling us, and we had wooded area behind our neighborhood. Well, they put in 50 starter homes, and they're very close to each other. It's a lot of younger people. It's the first time you're buying a home. There's a grandfather who had a house, and his grandson was on house arrest for whatever he did. And apparently he was going to turn evidence on the others. So they just started coming back there and shooting the houses up. And it went on for a while. Well, I haven't heard anything recently. I think the situation has died down. The grandson's no longer there. And that was the thing that everybody was saying. He needs to get that grandson out, because once those young people realize that he's not there, they're not going to shoot the houses up. But people's cars were shot, people's brand new houses were riddled with bullets, and it was a mess. So it's a bad situation. But the other thing that I really get upset about is as many people who have come in here as investors and bought houses. The house next door to me, the owner said, there's no way I can not accept this offer. They were paying like 50 or 60,000 extra dollars. And they went in and they did everything to the house. And the house next to me now rents for $2,500 a month. There are 3 or 4 young people in there now, and thank God they're nice people. But there's 3 or 4 putting their money together so that they can afford to live in a decent neighborhood in a decent house. And something needs to be done about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's another whole can of worms, the affordability problem in Charlotte. But Thomas?
Well, when we're on the topic of the crime and the violence we're seeing, not only in our own neighborhoods, but, you constantly hear about the violence and stuff downtown. And of course, we want our downtown to be a source of pride. But what I don't hear, or at least I haven't heard, and perhaps they have talked about it, is when I hear about the parks or the areas of downtown specifically, or maybe even over there by Hidden Valley on Sugar Creek Road and Reagan. What I don't hear is, they say the cops have more presence, but what I don't hear is, are they actually getting out and walking the beat, especially in the parks and the areas downtown? Because I don't hear them saying that, and maybe I'm old-fashioned in this attitude, but I'm thinking, people who are thinking about committing an act of violence, if they look beside them on the sidewalk and they see a cop, their tendency not to commit that act of violence in the first place. So I don't know if that's being addressed or has been talked about in any way, shape, or form, but I'd love to hear a discussion about that, because, like I said, maybe I'm just old-fashioned in that, but that seemed to be a true deterrent that could be done and maybe is not being done anymore.
Yeah, this definitely falls under the purview of city council. I don't know if you have any comment, Councilmember Mayfield. I know Charlene is ready to say something.
So Teresa, let me ask you a quick question. Even though you're not going to be there, if the Derita Association continues with the September meeting, do you already have your community officer plan to come and give you an update on the area?
For our breakfast?
Right. Well, for any upcoming meetings, do you plan to have?
Well, I have not had an officer on one of these meetings, but yes, I would love to have a regular CMPD person on this meeting, at least, to tell us what they know about some of these cases as much as they can. They do attend our more local community organization meetings, the Allen Hills. We always have someone from CMPD there.
It's on foot. Right. So that would be helpful to get the most accurate information and updates on the cases that they have. Regarding Uptown, I want to remind everyone that Uptown, like South Park and a couple of other areas, have an MSD. where the residents actually pay even more than what we pay in taxes. So if you drive through Uptown, they've expanded security in the area. I actually 2 days ago, when I was headed to a meeting, did see some officers that were actually on bicycle that were going through, as well as a number of police vehicles that were throughout the area and near the park uptown. But I think having having your community officer come out and give an update would definitely be beneficial to know everything that's going on the ground, specifically over there. I also want us to just keep in mind, we're a city of over 900,000. We're a city county of over 1 million. We have 1,600 officers. So we have 1,600 officers that are patrolling a city county of over 1 million residents. So that's one of the challenges as well. But those areas like Uptown and South Park, excuse me, that and University that have an MSD, they also have private security that the board has elected to engage with and to hire. But I definitely believe it will be an opportunity to have the community officer come out and give everyone an update of what's going on, and to hear that you all would like to see more patrol, as well as see some community patrolling.
Yeah, thank you very much. We have the situation in Derita that we actually have 3 different police districts
Right.
that kind of meet at where North Graham and where Sugar Creek intersect. The 3 different police districts: University, North Tryon, and North Division. So we all kind of fall into, and that even West Sugar Creek falls into 2, like one side of Sugar Creek is University City, and the other side of Sugar Creek is North Division. So sometimes it's hard because it's fragmented. But in another way, you have 2 police divisions that are responsible or can respond. So it's a bit of a conundrum, but yeah, I would love to have somebody from CMPD come on these calls and just help us, or at least hear these community leaders who want to see more police presence and believe that that is an important deterrence, as well as, you know, in the private property owners, as they have done in University City, in and South Park and Uptown, as you said. They actually collect an additional tax on those residents to cover some extra services beyond what the city and county and even state provide. But yeah, you know, our Uptown is suffering from a major perception problem, as well as a real, you know, a real problem. I have several friends who live right uptown who are very discouraged at the conditions there. Charlene?
So yes, ma'am, this is probably the last time I chime in, and I do apologize for interjecting. However, now all I can say is for what we do in our area, we have our crime has decreased so dramatically that is unbelievable. But we're still consistently pushing over across the street of Tom Hunter, well, Reagan Drive, because if we don't get it under control, it's going to trickle down into our backyards. And it's not in our backyard. That's not what we want to say, but we do not want that to fall through. So I say to Thomas, this can be a sidebar conversation, an offline conversation, but the goal that we're having right now, yeah, the bike patrol would be great, but as soon as they get arrested, they come back on the streets. That's the problem. That's the issue. And so we're looking at mandates to see how we can start holding the magistrates more accountable, as well as the law enforcement, those who hold those offenders accountable. So those are the things that we do in our area. And I promise you, on everything that we love, because we have come together collectively and push back and begin to have those law enforcement come to us and hold them accountable, we have to make sure that they come and give us a direct number of the accounts that are happening, and make sure that we follow up and follow through with the law enforcement. And I tell you, no lie, our numbers have dwindled so drastically, because now they go in there with their blue lights on, even if they're not arresting anyone. They're putting the emphasis on, don't come through here if you're trying to cause problems or issues. Now, that right there did the work. I mean, they're doing the work. They're doing what they can, because they are short of officers. And so we have other individuals that come in together, like We Are One Charlotte, which is an organization that came together. It's a group of brothers that came together, do not get no funding from the city, county, or the state, but they want our cities safe and clean. So they act as liaisons between the street and law enforcement. They don't do a lot of law enforcement. They come as brothers to see what the issues are, to see how they can be a part of the solution. And they have really helped in that area of Sugar Creek. And so if anytime you guys want to go over there and just kind of see what's happening, they went there, they cleaned it up. And so a business over there who has a mortar brick business offered up their building, because now they see that there's individuals who are trying to help clean that area up. They gave them a space so that they can come together, have these meetings, to have one mind to come out there and help clean that mess up. So again, we can't depend on the city and all of law enforcement, but we can depend on us, because if we don't help each other, then it's going to get worse. So I just wanted to make sure, Thomas, if you know, to let you know that there are individuals who are really out here helping to make the narrative, push that narrative. And that's all I can say to that. But if you would like to have a ride down through there, meet some of the young men and see how we can actually, come together, or you can just be a part of what's going on, that would be great, because we can't sit back and say what they ought to do if we're not pointing the finger back at ourselves. So my number is 980-298-4094 for anybody who wants to get more information. We've done a lot, and we're going to continuously push and hold people accountable. Again, my number, 980-298-4094. I don't talk about the policies. I talk about what we can do as a community. That's what's happening. And we keep getting off on this policy thing. We're going to miss the mark. So Thomas, I hope you wrote my number down, 980-298-4094. Boots on the ground.
Well, Charlene, I would have done that, except for I don't have anything to write with right now.
Oh my God, I done said it 3 times.
Can somebody put it in the chat? Maybe
It's already in the chat.
It's in
Good
the
job.
chat,
Thank you
yeah.
thank you so much. All of you, you just called me. I promise you, we are doing the work out here for real. A lot of us do not get any kind of credit, but it's okay. All we want to do is clean the mess up. That's it. Bottom line.
Thank you, Charlene.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And I think we have to call it at this point, guys. We're at 10:30, if not later. I can't see
Yeah,
the
it
time
is.
right now.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much.
But yeah, thanks everyone, and yeah, we'll look forward to remember to get out and vote. The primaries are very important, guys, in these races. The primary basically decides the election, since a lot of these districts do not have a Republican on the ballot in November. So whoever wins the Democrat primary is going to pretty much be our new city council member. So please get out and do that. And if you're unaffiliated, you can vote in either primary. And if there's a runoff, you you can only vote if you voted in the first vote. So get out and vote in those primaries, guys. And I will see you guys in September. We will have the Zoom on the first Thursday at 9. And then for right now, the breakfast is September 20th, but I just realized that I am committed to grandma duty that weekend, so I will be out of town.
Teresa, there's one
yes.
other thing. I had my hand up for a reason before. On the 20th is a free shredding day. So the 1st of September is when you go ahead and sign up for it. Teresa, I will text you that so that you can broadcast it, but it's set up so that you can bring, and I've done it, you bring all your shredding, you go on a line, you go up to the machine, the man takes everything out of your car for you, you don't have to lift, he throws it in the machine, and you actually see it being shredded before you leave. And that was something that I thought I was just going to have to leave it, and I wasn't happy about that. But that worked out very well.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, send that information. And guys, for all of you on the call, you are always welcome to post stuff on our Facebook page, Derita News. If if there are events that you want to get out to the broader community, it's so much easier to share via a platform like Facebook to more people that we know, so we can publicize if in any events like that. So
And
if
it's
you're not already following Derita News, go and follow that on Facebook and post stuff there. We're not really looking for business self-promotion stuff, but events like this that are already that are a value to the community, absolutely, please.
it's Wipe Out Waste, WIPEOUTWASTE.net North Carolina .gov. And there's
Wow.
no limit on what you can bring paper wise.
Okay, well that's great to know, because usually they only do a banker box or two. Where will it be?
They did not have the location when I called 311 to ask the information, but they said that will be following. A lot of times in your water bill, you'll get a little slip with the dates that they have it, but you can sign up as of 9/1.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming out. Next month, I will have more slides and updates, and hopefully a couple of guests to present, at least, on the new development coming at Puckett's. Maybe CDOT to tell us what they've got going on in our area. I'm not sure if they provide somebody like that to meetings. But we'll see if we can get CDOT to at least tell us what's going to happen at Gibbon and West Sugar Creek, but because I do believe there are some improvements coming over there. And CMPD, we'll see if we can get somebody, a regular from CMPD, to just give us an update. All right, folks, thank you very much. And I will see you guys next month. Trying to figure out how to stop my recording. You can always watch on YouTube to see the last bit of fumbling around.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Leah. Good luck.
Thank you. I put my website in the chat too as well.
Okay, awesome.
You guys have a good one. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.